Hello, I'm Craig Brailsford, and welcome to another episode of Small Stocks, Big Money. For those of you new to the show, RedChip is an investor relations, media, and research firm focused on emerging growth companies. Our unique platform combines global multimedia with traditional investor relations, reaching investors around the world. Now, today's show features interviews with executives of two public companies. First up is Nexalin Technology. Nexalin is a pioneering medical technology company focused on addressing the global mental health crisis through innovative neurostimulation devices. Nexalin's products, which include the Gen 2 and newly introduced Gen 3 Halo Clarity devices, are non-invasive and utilize advanced frequency-based stimulation to target deep brain structures associated with various mental health disorders. These disorders include, but are not limited to, depression, anxiety, insomnia, PTSD, and traumatic brain injuries. We'll learn more when we speak with the CEO later in the show. Up next is Calidi Biotherapeutics. Calidi is a clinical stage immuno-oncology company with proprietary technology designed to arm the immune system to fight cancer. Calidi's novel stem cell-based platforms utilize potent allogeneic stem cells capable of carrying payloads of oncolytic viruses for use in multiple oncology indications, among them high-grade gliomas and solid tumors. Calidi's clinical stage off-the-shelf universal cell-based delivery platforms are designed to protect, amplify, and potentiate oncolytic viruses, leading to enhanced efficacy and improved patient safety. We'll learn more when we speak with the CFO later in the show. Before we dive into our first interview, let's take a moment to recognize some of RedChip's top performers in 2024. Among them, RedCat, RCAT, up an incredible 1,293% in 2024, Alliance Entertainment soaring by 842%, Gorilla Technology, which gained 250%, and Nova Minerals, up 149%. These companies have demonstrated the immense potential of the small cap market. Looking ahead to 2025, RedChip has also unveiled its top 25 small cap stocks to watch. This curated list includes names like Venue Holding, VENU on the New York Stock Exchange American, and Trinity Biotech, TRIB on the NASDAQ. To learn more about why these and other exciting small cap stocks made it onto our 2025 list, visit redchip.com and download the full report. Now, let's move on to our quote of the week. It comes from the book Small Stocks, Big Money. Do your homework, understand companies you invest in forwards and backwards. This quote comes from Charles Diker of Diker Management, and it is featured in Chapter 8 of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book of exclusive interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Get a digital copy on Amazon today for just $18. Now, let's get started with our first interview today with Nexalin Technology. Hello, today we have Mark White, CEO of Nexalin Technology, trading on the NASDAQ under the ticker NXL. Mark, welcome to the show.
Hey, Craig, it's always a pleasure.
Nexalin Technology has been described as a pioneer in deep intracranial frequency stimulation, or DIFS. How does this technology differentiate Nexalin from competitors in the mental health treatment market?
Well, obviously, this is a non-pharmaceutical, so the bulk of the competition comes through medication. So this is non-pharmaceutical, non-invasive neurostimulation of the brain. What makes Nexalin so unique is the ability to stimulate deep in the midbrain. This is where mental health disease and mental health illnesses, quote, what we say lives. And the idea is to penetrate safely without any side effects, patient discomfort, or risk, penetrate deep into the midbrain. Other techniques are extremely limited on their stimulation. In other words, most of their stimulation is very surface of the brain, so you get very little response and you actually get some patient discomfort. For Nexalin, the fact that we can go deep into the midbrain where the mental illness lives, the fact that we can carry these frequencies deep into the midbrain and stimulate the neurons and create a response towards health and wellness. In other words, eliminate the symptoms of mental health disease is what makes Nexalin so different from every other technique that's currently in the market.
Mark, could you share some insights into the growth potential of the neuromodulation market and how Nexalin plans to capture a significant share?
So the easiest way to answer this question is for about 15 years now, the scientific industry realized that the future of mental health treatments was going to be stimulating the brain, light stimulation, sound stimulation, electrical stimulation, magnetic stimulation. What specifically Nexalin is doing is focusing on stimulating with an energy pattern that's frequency based, that mimics the natural electrical energy already in the brain. So when we start talking about how do we intend to capture the attention of not only the scientific community, but the academic community and the patient community, is because we're going to offer a treatment that's 75 to 90% effective. Most, if not all, stimulation techniques are less than 40% effective. It's safer, it has no risk and no adverse side effects. From there, it's about publishing with good scientific data created in the academics, both in the United States and internationally.
Phase 1 of Nexalin's virtual clinic integrates AI with the Generation 3 Halo device. Could you explain how this platform enhances the patient and physician experience and why it's a game changer for mental health treatments?
Okay, so the first piece of the puzzle when you say game changer is obviously the technology. It's really difficult in these short presentations to help your listeners and all of our investors understand this is not like any current neurostimulation device on the market. So there's number one. Number two, AI integration. So more so in America, but all over the world, we're a quick fix society. We want a seamless interaction with whatever our treatment, our cure, whatever the standard of care may be. So the idea is to create an AI ecosystem that focuses on the Nexalin stimulation technique in a headset that can be worn on the head in the privacy of your home, with AI tracking the user experience, tracking the response of the headset to the cloud. Did you use it? When did you use it? Did it work? Did the impedance work? Did the microprocessors work? On the other side is the physician using AI to track the responses so that they're no longer spending, in this case, 5 to 7 minutes trying to interpret where their patient is. They can literally have a summary through an AI trained platform that will give them a quick summation of where the patient is, the client is. Are they responding to treatment? Was it safe? Was it effective? And then you take the whole entire experience and you're able to actually analyze how the patient is responding. Because remember, Craig, for everyone out there, ultimately you take this technology that is a game changer, you put it into a digital ecosystem, what we call a virtual experience. So the entire management, prescription, treatment profile, everything is handled in the clouds, in the apps, in a digital system that is all eventually going to be managed, monitored, and streamlined. Most importantly, enhanced efficacy through the AI engine.
A recent peer-reviewed publication in Psychotherapy and Psychosomatics validated your DIFS technology, Mark. How important are these endorsements in building investor confidence and expanding market opportunities?
So I'm holding that article here. This is a significant article because what this peer-reviewed publication does is, as I said a few minutes ago, it's been, quote, game on in the neurostimulation world. Everybody was trying to find a way to stimulate or create a positive response in the brain. And Nexalin realized early on that the only way to actually truly create a long-term 80 to 90% response was to penetrate deeper into the brain. And in order to penetrate deeper into the brain, you needed more power. In order to get more power, you needed to be able to create a power band very similar to the power, to the energy, if you will, in your brain. And so what this article does is compares ECT at the most powerful form of stimulation all the way into the toys on the internet, direct current stimulation, alternating current stimulation, magnetic stimulation, shock therapy, et cetera. And it finds that basically the Nexalin treatment, with its low risk profile, its high efficacy, and its patient comfort, is truly the future of neurostimulation.
Now, can you discuss the FDA clearance process for that Gen 3 Halo headset and its significance for accessing the United States market?
So as many of you are aware that have been following Nexalin, we took a global approach first. Rather than investing literally 30 to $50 million in the American market, we went offshore into international communities, reputable neuropsychiatric centers, so that we could actually validate the technology in a clinical setting, controlled trials, active and sham. And what we were able to do was build this robust data set. I think that we've got 19 different clinical trials that are either underway, have been completed, or in the process of being published. I think 10 of them have already been published. And the reason that's important for the FDA relationship is as we come back into the American model, while we continue to develop the international model, we come to the FDA not as a hypothesis, but a safe treatment with technical validation, clinical validation, which creates a unique relationship with the FDA that we're developing literally as we speak. And so that requires pivotal trials, large 150 to 200 patients in the United States, that the FDA would have literally a collaboration with our regulatory and clinical teams to make sure that the technology that's been validated offshore in the international markets is now going to be mirrored in the United States in an FDA clinical path that was managed and advised on with the FDA and our regulatory team. The future of this technology in America relies on the medical clearance for this medical device.
You've announced a partnership with UC San Diego and the San Diego VA to study veterans with mild traumatic brain injury. How does this align with Nexalin's broader mission, and what impact could these results have on future applications?
So again, the focus of Nexalin has been in three primary areas. Number one, we've discussed it several times, what we call our primary mood disorders: anxiety, depression, insomnia. These are what we call the primary mood disorders. And the second area of interest has been in the military. We have a subsidiary called Nexalin America that has an advisory board with retired and current executives and political members of the political, inside the beltway, as they say, political military scene. The idea is to build and develop the technology based on the needs of the military to address those that have been injured in a traumatic brain injury or PTSD scenario. So it's extremely important for that. The third area of our interest is not only in the primary mood disorders and the TBI and the military issues, but it's also going to be in addiction. So substance use disorder, opiate addiction, alcoholism, which ties into the TBI, PTSD model as well. And then, of course, last but not least, and we're not really talking about this much today, but the Alzheimer's dementia. You know, Craig, I'll remind you and everyone at RedChip and all of your viewers that we've recently published 2 clinical papers, controlled active sham investigations that were peer-reviewed and published, demonstrating responses in the brain that indicate a reduction and possible slowing of the Alzheimer's dementia disease. So that's a lot of information, but that's the clinical model, and a large part of it begins and ends with our very close relationship with UCSD in Southern California.
In summary, Mark, what's the essential value proposition? Why should an investor take an interest in Nexalin right now?
Okay, if you go into our website or go online and Google Nexalin and look at the press releases over the last 12 months, go in and look at some of the funding and how well we manage capital. And last, but by far not the least, is the high efficacy of this technology. I can tell all of your viewers, as I've said over and over the last 5 years, the future of mental health care is non-invasive neurostimulation that's able to penetrate deep into the brain with specific frequencies that evidence-based science has proven responds in a health and wellness manner. The future of Nexalin and the future of this waveform is the ability to bring that technology into the home through that virtual clinic that I've talked about. So we've answered the stigma of mental health treatment. It's in the privacy of the home. We've answered the no medication model, non-invasive, drug-free treatment. We've handled the side effect profile that patients don't want to experience. There are no side effects. There are no adverse events. As I said, this is the future. Nexalin Technology. Take a look at how well we manage our capital, how well we manage all of our clinical evidence, and you will see literally a tsunami of activity for companies that are probably valued at 5 or 6 times what our company is currently valued at, and you'll see very quickly what the value proposition is.
It's a great story, Mark. Thanks for being with us today.
It's my pleasure.
To get more information on Nexalin Technology, visit nxlinfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 1-800-RedChip to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at redchip.com, featuring emerging growth companies like Nexalin Technology. Now, let's move on to our next interview today with Calidi Biotherapeutics. Hello, today we have Andrew Jackson, CFO of Calidi Biotherapeutics, trading on the New York Stock Exchange American under the ticker CLDI. Andrew, welcome back.
Great, thanks for having me again.
Calidi specializes in oncolytic virotherapy. Can you briefly explain what oncolytic virotherapy is and how it differs from traditional cancer treatments?
Sure. So oncolytic viruses are basically viruses that have been engineered to attack and kill cancer. We call our solution more than just oncolytic therapy, though. It's more like anti-tumor virotherapy because it does more than just attack and kill the cancer cell. It also activates an anti-tumor immune response, kind of like a vaccine, from the body's own immune system against the tumor, which then results in a more durable outcome. So additionally, the immune system keeps that memory and is then trained to attack those types of tumors in the future. And then really what separates us from other companies doing something similar is that we have a protective approach to the virotherapy in the form of a human cell envelope for our systemic administration platform and a stem cell for our intratumoral solid tumor platforms. Both provide protection from the body's immune system during administration, allowing the full viral payload to reach the tumor and perform its designated function.
Calidi's pipeline includes several innovative platforms such as NeuroNova, Supernova, and RTNova. Can you provide an overview of these platforms, Andrew, and their unique advantages in cancer therapy?
Sure. Let me start with RTNova, which is our systemic platform. So during the manufacturing process, we envelop a vaccinia virus with a human cell membrane called an extracellular enveloped virus. This membrane has natural human receptors that A, offer protection from the body's immune system, and B, home in on tumor cells. Because of the small form factor, this can be administered through the blood with an injection. And our animal studies have shown that the virus targets multiple different tumors, even at distant locations. The target indications for this platform are metastatic solid tumors and also lung cancer. Our Supernova platform consists of a vaccinia virus loaded into an allogeneic adipose-derived stem cell. The target indications are advanced solid tumors, including head and neck, triple-negative breast, and soft tissue sarcoma. And we're targeting filing an IND for a company-sponsored phase 1 trial this quarter. And finally, our NeuroNova platform consists of an adenovirus loaded into an allogeneic neuronal stem cell. The target indication for this is high-grade glioma, or brain cancer. We're in the middle of a one investigator-sponsored phase 1 trial at City of Hope right now for recurrent high-grade glioma, and we're dosing the 4th cohort out of 4 cohorts. So what that means is during this progression, we've had really good safety data from the first 3 cohorts.
Andrew, the FDA recently cleared the IND application for NeuroNova, also known as CLD 101. What upcoming milestones should investors be expecting from that program?
Yes, that's our other investigator-sponsored trial at Northwestern University, and that's for newly diagnosed high-grade glioma. And we expect the first dosing this quarter, so that will be a great milestone. This will be our first trial with multiple doses to treat newly diagnosed high-grade glioma.
How large are the market opportunities for all your programs?
There's various different reports, but we have solid data supporting a 10 billion US market for the indications that we're targeting with our 3 platforms. And many of these indications, especially metastatic diseases, sarcoma, and glioblastoma, have very low survival rates.
Andrew, Calidi has completed a few capital raises recently. Can you tell us a little about your financial position?
Sure. So in the fourth quarter of last year, we completed transactions that led to 14.6 million in gross proceeds. That's before deducting expenses. The proceeds were mainly from public offerings and use of our ATM facility. In addition, in January of this year, we raised another 4.25 million in gross proceeds from a public offering. We also paid off or converted to equity 4.5 million in debt in 2024. So this has really positioned us to focus on our operations and execute on achieving these milestones on our roadmap.
Andrew, in summary, what's the essential value proposition? Why should investors take an interest in Calidi right now?
Well, we're positioning ourselves well to be the first truly systemic anti-tumor virotherapy designed to target distant tumors, kill them, and then train the immune system to generate a vaccination or durable response against the cancer. The effectiveness of this approach of protecting the virus has been supported by a 26-patient safety study we did that had durable responses for several stage 4 cancer patients. Our balance sheet is now stronger than it's ever been, and we're positioned to hit several clinical and preclinical milestones in the short term and throughout 2025.
Thanks, Andrew, for being with us today.
Great, thank you.
To get more information on Calidi Biotherapeutics, visit CLDIinfo.com. You'll see research reports, fact sheets, presentations, and the latest videos. It's all free, and you can even subscribe to email alerts to stay on top of the latest news. You can also call 1-800-RedChip to speak to a specialist if you have any questions. We also have a free weekly newsletter you can subscribe to at RedChip.com, featuring emerging growth companies like Calidi Biotherapeutics. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small-cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly our client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, visit redchip.com and subscribe today. In addition to our newsletter, you can order Small Stocks, Big Money. This is a book written by RedChip CEO, featuring interviews with some of the biggest players in the microcap space. Get a digital copy on Amazon for $18. Now, let's recap the companies featured today. First, you met Nexalin Technology, NXL, on the NASDAQ. Nexalin is a pioneering medical technology company focused on addressing the global mental health crisis through innovative neurostimulation devices. Nexalin's products, which include the Gen 2 and newly introduced Gen 3 Halo Clarity devices, are non-invasive and utilize advanced frequency-based stimulation to target deep brain structures associated with various mental health disorders. These disorders include, but are not limited to, depression, anxiety, insomnia, PTSD, and traumatic brain injuries. Learn more at www.nxlinfo.com. Then you met Calidi Biotherapeutics, CLDI, on the New York Stock Exchange American. Calidi is a clinical stage immuno-oncology company with proprietary technology designed to arm the immune system to fight cancer. Calidi's novel stem cell-based platforms utilize potent allogeneic stem cells capable of carrying payloads of oncolytic viruses for use in multiple oncology indications, including high-grade gliomas and solid tumors. Calidi's clinical stage, off-the-shelf, universal cell-based delivery platforms are designed to protect, amplify, and potentiate oncolytic viruses, leading to enhanced efficacy and improved patient safety. Learn more at www.cldinfo.com. Don't forget to check out our stocks page. It is the biggest small-cap stock portal in the industry. Every company listed on the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange with market cap of $2 billion and less. And it's categorized by industries. Watch this show again and explore hundreds of small-cap stock videos on RedChip's YouTube channel. And be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter and learn about a lot of small-cap companies. Also, go to our website and sign up on our events page for the webinar series. We have webinars every week, several a week, in which we feature small public companies, mostly client companies, and you'll hear straight from the CEO, and you'll be able to ask questions after that. Again, if you have any questions about any of our public companies featured on today's show, call us at 1-800-RedChip or email us at info@redchip.com. In closing, remember, while small caps can provide significant gains, you must be prepared for the downside. Small cap stocks are among the most volatile of asset classes. Some of the companies featured on this show are RedChip client companies, and we may own stock in these companies. So please, always read our disclosures at redchip.com. Thanks for being with us today. We'll see you next week with some new, exciting, emerging growth companies.